What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on, NFL world? How you doing, division rivals? This is Stephen Hyder with Gate City Sports Channel, the sports channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever it is you get around to watching this, guys. Once again, Stephen Hyder, Gate City Sports Channel. All right, guys, today's topic. Hey, look, guys, we've been going through all these wide receivers, and there's one wide receiver that's really starting to cross paths with me now. 2020 Vision has been asking me to kind of look into this kid. He's told me that he's pretty big on him. I just saw that Philly 500 put a video out on this kid. I've been watching film of his. I wasn't originally going to put this video out today, but I feel like I have enough content. I have enough of his film watched to put it together, guys. So today, look, I'm going to talk about Brandon Aiyuk and basically what his film tells me. What is Brandon Aiyuk? I mean, what kind of a prospect would this be for the Philadelphia Eagles, guys? I mean, would he fit the needs that we have here in Philadelphia? All right, y'all, let's jump into today's topic. Aiyuk is at the top of your screen. Lineup is the flanker to the field side, one-on-one. I noticed that Aiyuk is he's a weird dude when you talk about positional alignment, guys. 2020 Vision, some of you guys were hitting me up asking me to look into film to him. I kind of get why you like him. And at the same time, I almost feel like you guys were trying to trick me up to really make me get into film study because it took me a long time to break this kid down. Aiyuk has a weird tendency, guys. I don't know how to explain it other than to say that he doesn't always play to the left side of the field, whether that's the boundary or the field, but he prefers playing to the left side of the field, and he takes a lot of reps from the left side of the field, whether it's the boundary or the field side. So he doesn't carry on most of his positional reps by whether he's on the field or the boundary. He prefers to play to the left. It's a strange phenomenon. I don't know why, but you'll see him on film where he'll be lined up in the slot.
They fake it to Benjamin. They get it to Aiyuk, who makes
He'll be lined up as the flank.
Conservative the call is on 3rd and 7. They're going to give Daniels a chance from the pocket, and he lofts it downfield.
Here he'll be lined up as the split end.
They come after him, fall out, but...
And primarily speaking, he likes to play to the left side of the field. I don't know. Maybe it's got to do with the way that he sees things. I can't explain that part, guys. He doesn't always, like, he will line up on the right, the right side of the field, whether it's the boundary or the field side.
2nd and 16, Daniels has a man wide open.
So you will see some things like that, and he is pretty good on the right side of the field. For me, if you were asking me where I think he would project in the NFL, it's a bit of a tricky question, guys. I think he's best suited to either play inside at the slot or to play the flanker role. Okay, to play towards the field side more so than the boundary side. But I do like the fact that he has some versatility to where you can feel comfortable like, hey, you know what? This kid can play on the boundary. He's done it quite a bit. Now, I do think that when you look at a kid like this, I am a little concerned, guys, with his positional alignment and the fact that he is playing all over the place. I don't think he's as good in his routes as you would expect a guy playing all these different positions. He's not the most crisp route runner I've watched on film yet. Not the worst, not the best. You could look at that as a positive, guys. You could say that, well, that means that there's room for improvement, so this kid's only going to get better. And that is one way of looking at this.
Behind for a month. Now with the lead, they're getting a little wobbly.
To get into Brandon Aiyuk's abilities on the field as a route runner, where his strengths are within the route tree, where I think he would be placed at here in this Philadelphia Eagles offense. Guys, let's just go ahead and let's get into what would be the elephant in the room about Brandon Aiyuk. The thing about Brandon Aiyuk is that his 40 time at the combine, it wasn't what people expected, right? I mean, he came out ran a 4.5 40. I can tell you this, guys. I've looked on film. This kid's faster than a 4.5 40. Now, news did break recently that he's undergoing a core muscle surgery, much like Deshaun Jackson had to go through. So I'm assuming that he tried to gut it out and tough it out at the combine, and having that kind of an injury probably slowed him down a little bit. I will tell you, on film, guys, he's running away from people. He's breaking away from them. It's not even close. So, his route running. Look, vertical routes, this kid's good. If you get this kid vertical, he's going to hurt you.
Win with 4. He got him
lofting it deep. That's Aiyuk. Brandon Aiyuk.
This kid is really good in the vertical game. Quick outs to him, just quick dump offs, getting him the ball in space, letting him make a play. He's pretty good at that as well, guys. I think the area where you're going to see people have concerns with Brandon Aiyuk comes down to how he plays against more physical man press concept.
In the backfield, out of the shotgun.
Now, I will tell you, some of the things that I'm seeing on tape against him, the way teams were playing him, I'm going to be real with you, in the NFL, some of these guys are doing it, it's likely a penalty.
The way to play side tight end. Takes the
Like, there's a few times where, they're getting into him before the ball arrives, they're getting in and over his back, which that's a penalty. A few times going down the field where they're clearly making contact past 5 yards, and it's not like an incidental, like, hand fight kind of contact. Like, it's like grabbing and holding, like, things that would absolutely be called a penalty in the NFL. So, yeah, I mean, I do think teams are going to see this and adapt it to the NFL rule books to where they're going to bump him more. You'll probably see a little more bump, which means offensive coordinators will have to get creative with a guy like Brandon Aiyuk, and what you'll have to do probably, guys, is you'll probably have to either teach him how to hand fight at the line. You're going to have to help him improve on his release at the line of scrimmage. Or you can do some things like you would do with a Hamler, which is if you got a team that keeps trying to get a little too physical with him and he can't beat that, then you start running trips, right? You start going into stack sets, right? So that way he's getting a free release off the line of scrimmage, and they're also trying to play catch up with his speed on that point. So I think you will see issues like this pop up about Brandon Aiyuk, but the kid is fast. The kid has got vertical speed. The kid is very good in space on dump-offs. Outside of probably the physicality being, maybe pushed a little bit around the line of scrimmage, he's also got a couple small little things there with drops where he's got to improve a little bit with his hands. I do think he's got some concentration, drops.
Daniel stepping
Good
up.
job.
Drop right there.
So a lot of these speed guys have them to where they're so focused on making a play that they don't actually finish securing the catch before trying to cut and make a play. That'll be a problem in the future, guys. Got to give Aiyuk credit, man. You put him in space, and this kid is incredible. Brandon Aiyuk is in a class of these really weird and strange kind of vertical threat receivers, guys, in my opinion. And, if I were to stack them right now, because I know there are a lot of Brandon Aiyuk fans out there, especially within the Philadelphia Eagles community. There's a lot of guys that like the coaching tree that he was under out there in Arizona State. Look, the way I would look at it is, if you're looking at these, you could probably include some of these slot receivers, some of these wides in this category. But if you put them along with the Z receivers, the flanker receivers, I think the best it's an obvious one, guys. It's Henry Ruggs. Henry Ruggs is the most explosive player in this draft, period. Number 2, in my opinion, that's where you go Jalen Reagor. If you don't believe me on Jalen Reagor, I got a video coming up, guys. Go back and look what Jalen Reagor did to Arnett and Okudah back in 2018. Past Reagor, I'd probably go with my third guy would probably be Brandon Aiyuk in this positioning, guys. I do think that there's talent there. I do think there's some concerns with the core muscle injury. I'm a little concerned with his ability to run a full route tree, guys. I mean, there's not a lot of film in him coming back to the football, coming on like, curls and comeback routes. And when he does come back, he's not always a clean catcher. Sometimes he does really well, sometimes not so well on that. That cornerback is respecting his speed, but it looks like Aiyuk curls when he should have been coming back. Would have loved to seen more development there, more film on him doing these things. You go past Brandon, Aiyuk, then I think you get into KJ Hamler, okay? Those are the 4 guys that I've kind of covered. I've talked about Ruggs in the past. I haven't really done a breakdown on his film, but I think most of us know what he is. Past that, guys, there are a few other interesting selections out there, guys. I wouldn't put Justin Jefferson in this class. I think he's a little different. I do think there are some vertical elements to Justin Jefferson, but like I said, I think Justin Jefferson is one of these positionalist players. Aiyuk is right in the weird part of that. I just don't think he has strong enough route running to put him with a Justin Jefferson. I don't feel comfortable projecting him to be a, Devontae Adams, Michael Thomas type player because his route tree is just not extensive enough for that, in my opinion. But past those guys, the next person I'd probably put past KJ Hamler, look for Antonio Gibson, guys. He's coming up. I'm going to be breaking him down. I know a few of you guys hit me up, wanted me to talk about him. It's coming. Past that, you guys could look to a slot guy like Duvernay, who's definitely got kind of an Emmanuel Sanders, to him. He's that type of player, but his route tree is also a little limited. So I think Aiyuk is up there with these prospects, guys. I think if you can't get up and you can't get a Ruggs. I mean, I think the Eagles' first option will be try to get Ruggs, Henry Ruggs, but I just don't think it's going to happen. If you can't get Ruggs, my next thing is try to find a way to get Rhaegar. I mean, you got to really consider him at the 21st pick because I just don't think you're going to get him early enough in the second round. And of course, we would all much rather have the Eagles trade back, you know what I mean, to go after a player like that. Late first round, maybe even early second round. Past that, guys, I think your next option you have to look at is Brandon Aiyuk. You go past Brandon Aiyuk, then you're at KJ Hamler. I think if you fall outside of KJ Hamler, it starts getting a little iffy, guys. I mean, but these are my thoughts. I'd love to know what you guys think about it. Let me know what you guys think about Brandon Aiyuk. I like the kid. I don't think he's quite a Rhaegar. He's nowhere near, quite to the level of a Ruggs. But this kid's a vertical threat, man. I mean, you put him with the creativity we should have from the offensive play calling, along with a quarterback like Carson Wentz, and I think you can get something special here. All right, y'all. Let me know your thoughts. You know what time it is. EAGLES. All right, y'all. Let's go Eagles.